Hello kindergarten, so today we are going to start to draw this fire truck, and we're going to draw it and paint it in. And our fire truck is made up of different shapes, and we know that the wheels are what shape? What shape is this right here, kindergarten? It's a circle, right. And then the cab, or the front of our fire truck, where the firemen sit and ride, what shape is this? It has 4 sides that are all the same length. What shape is that? You're right, kindergarten, it's a square. And we have another square window here. And then right here, this shape for the window where the fireman rides and drives the truck, this has 2 long sides and 2 shorter sides. So what shape has 2 long sides and 2 shorter sides? What shape is that, kindergarten? A rectangle. You are right. And then the back of our truck is also a very long rectangle. 2 long sides and 2 short sides. All right, so the way that you're going to start your fire truck today is you're going to get a long piece of paper. What shape is our paper today? 2 long sides, 2 short sides. You're right, a rectangle. So when you get your rectangle paper, you're going to write your name, and then I want you to write the day you have art. So if you have art on day C or day B or day A, you're going to write that down, and then you're going to flip it over, and we're going to start with this shape here. What shape is this? It has 4 sides that are the same. What shape is that again? You're right, a square. So we're going to start with a square shape, and this is going to be the front of our truck, our fire truck. And you can make the front of your fire truck on this side of your paper, or you can make it on this side of your paper. It's really up to you. And when you put this on your paper, you kind of want to put it up near the top of your paper and over to one side so you have a really long fire truck. And you're going to trace around this square shape, 4 sides that are all the same size, 4 equal sides. And you're going to put that over on one side of your paper. And then we're going to use this shape. What shape is this? You're right, kindergarten, it's a circle. And you're going to use this to go underneath the square, the front of your truck. And you're going to trace around it all the way. And then I want you to take an eraser and erase this bottom of the square, the straight line inside the circle. Erase that. And then take your pencil and draw a smaller circle inside the bigger circle for the inside of your wheel. And now let's draw the window where the fireman sits and drives the truck. So you're going to start with a short line that comes off the front and then goes up almost to the top and then all the way forward again, so that we're making a shape that has 2 long sides and 2 short sides. What shape is that again, kindergarten? A rectangle, you're right. And then go ahead and draw another square shape, 4 equal sides, for a smaller window behind the big window. Then I'm going to give you a small rectangle shape, 2 long sides, 2 short sides, and you're going to attach this or touch this to the back of the front of your truck. And you're going to trace around it, just the 3 sides. You don't need to trace around this side here because there's already a line there. And so trace around the 3 sides. And this is going to be the place where the firemen store their hoses, and they have their water pumps that pump the water, and they hook their hoses up to their truck. And so you're going to want to draw some gears and some gadgets here. And you can draw whatever you can come up with, but here's what I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw a small rectangle, and then I'm going to draw a curved line and then a straight line that's diagonal, just to look like a little gauge that tells them whether or not their truck is full of water, short of water, has lots of water pressure. And then I'm going to add a couple of circles for where they would attach their hoses. Now I don't want to draw these gears and gadgets too small because we're going to paint. And if you draw things tiny, you lose those details when you're painting. And then I'm going to add some hoses up here for the fire, where the hoses are stored. Okay, and now we need the back of the truck, and we're going to use what I call a 4-inch ruler. It looks like this, and it has a 4 written on it and 2 dashed lines, and that just means 4 inches, and it means it's 4 inches wide. And you're going to take this ruler, and you're going to take one end of it and have it touch the back part of the truck. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it kind of all of it all of the bottom line up. But I could make this come down a little bit. That's okay too. And I don't need to trace this front part of the ruler of where this rectangle is, because we know that line is already there. So I'm going to scoot this up right against that line and then start at the top of the line, go up and almost all the way back to the back of my paper. And then I'm going to go down and then almost all the way back to my paper. And then I want to close the back of my fire truck off. And we're missing the second wheel, so I'll get my circle shape out again. I'll trace around the circle all the way again, just like I did on the front. I'll erase that straight line that's inside the wheel. And draw another circle inside. And maybe my fire truck needs a light on top, the flashing red light, so I'll add a curved line up there. And then the most important thing that totally makes a fire truck, and that's the fire ladder on the side. So I'm going to draw two long lines on the side of my truck for the long sides of the ladder, and then I'm going to draw the rungs of the ladder, or the steps where the firemen step on the ladder. Alright, and then if you can think of anything else to add that you want to add, you can. Just keep in mind, if you draw too small things, a lot of small things, it's going to be hard to paint. And then you're going to outline or paint all your pencil lines with black. So we're going to use a black tempera cake. You're going to get your paintbrush wet, swirl it around on the tempera cake, swirl around, get lots of paint on your paintbrush, and then you're going to paint right over your pencil lines, a nice heavy black line. And when your paintbrush starts to run out of paint, dip it in the water again, swirl it around. I also want you to use this black paint to color in the wheels all the way black, except for that center circle. So I'm going to paint around the center circle, and then this donut, this wheel part, color that in black. Go over all your lines. See how I start to lose those details, because this paintbrush is kind of thick. So if I had drawn small little details, I would lose them. They just become black blobs or smudges. Alright, you can see I'm starting to run out of paint, so I need water on my paintbrush, get some more paint on there so I can get a nice solid line. Again, fill in the tire black except for that center circle. Notice I'm not rinsing my paintbrush off and swirling it around. I'm just dipping it in the water real fast, getting a little bit of water on it so I can get more paint on my paintbrush. And I have a nice heavy outlined black fire truck that fills my paper, made up of circles and squares and rectangles. And then on the second day, when the paint is dry, you're going to paint your fire truck red. So I'm going to switch out my water and my paintbrush and get fresh water and a bigger paintbrush and a red tempera cake. And just like with the black, you're going to swirl it around on the red, swirl around, swirl around, swirl around, get lots of red paint on your paintbrush. And then I want you to paint in your fire truck nice and neat. And if you want to leave parts of your fire truck white, you can. So I think I'm going to leave the circles on my wheels white. So that means I just won't paint that because the paper is white. So I don't need white paint to paint that because the paper's already white. I just don't paint it. And I have to be careful when I'm painting on the black, because the black, once it gets wet, it could mix in with my red paint and make my red paint an ugly brownish color when I add the black. So I need to be careful not to rub my paintbrush too much on the black and get it too wet and then mess up my red paint. I'm going to leave my gadgets and my gears and stuff like that on the side of my fire truck. I'm going to leave those white. I'm going to go ahead and leave the hose white there. And then I'm going to leave the windows white. And on this fire truck, I forgot to add the red light at the top. So I'm going to get some black paint, add the red light. I need to let that paint dry a little bit. This is not letting it dry, but I want to finish this real fast. So try not to touch the black paint and get it mixed in there and get my red light on top of my fire truck. And then I have my red fire truck made up of lots of different shapes, circles and squares and rectangles. It doesn't look like we have any triangles on our fire truck, but I'm sure you know what a triangle is, kindergarten. So good job. I love your fire trucks. They turned out great.